What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So first, just let me say a big thank you to all the new subs and the newer people who have found this channel and who are sending me very nice and polite messages saying how much they enjoy my content. I do appreciate that. That means a lot, and it helps keep me going. Okay. But there are some things I wanted to talk about, and I saw a very interesting video on one of these black female pages that, just shows a lot of different types of content that black women would appreciate. And it showed this black woman, I think she's African. She doesn't look like she's black American, but she looks like she's from Africa. And she had traveled over to India, and she's walking down the street and they're filming herself, and a lot of the people, the natives in India, are just kind of giving her weird looks. And she categorized the looks or the stares as, oh, they're just so fascinated by seeing this beautiful black woman, and seeing this black woman with her natural braided hair, because I think she had like some locks or some braids or something like that. And you know we have to be, as a people, we have to be careful with this type of nonsense. Okay, because that's exactly what I saw there was nonsense. They're not fascinated with you, sister. Okay, when you go to these foreign countries and they see you walking down the street, they're wondering, what in the hell are you doing here? That's what they're wondering. They're not fascinated with you. They're more, how should I say this? It's not so much of a anger or anything like that. It's more like a shock almost as to seeing a black person walking through the streets like that, because they don't normally see that. That's not their usual. Okay, so I noticed, because I rewatched the video several times just looking at the different people there, and they were not fascinated with her. It wasn't fascination. It was almost like, what in the hell? Why is she here, basically? And a lot of people need, a lot of black people need to be more cautious when they travel. All right, this is something I've noticed across the board. I noticed that wide scale traveling has become something new for black people, and anytime black people get a hold of something new, they do a lot of stupid things. I'm just that's harsh to say that, but I mean, it is what it is. Okay, black people who have sense have traveled already, and it's not that big of a deal. This is why, I think it's kind of goofy the way people act like the passport bros, or these women who travel to Dubai and stuff like that, or who get patroned to travel to Dubai. Travel is not that big of a deal. It's all because a lot of them are doing it just for attention. A lot of them are doing it just to stunt on other black people, basically trying to make themselves seem bigger or better, that they're traveling somewhere else or whatever. And that's an ignorant way of doing things. Okay, and then when you go somewhere, you think you're so rare, or people are looking at you because they idolize you, or see you as something great. And then I wind up reading stories about black people either being attacked or killed in these foreign countries because they're not paying attention to their surroundings. They have this weird idea that black people are just some like cult fetish object and people worship them around the world. I don't know where you guys are getting that. That's not true. Okay. Yes, black people are special, both the males and the females, and there is something great about our influence around the world, especially when it comes to black Americans, how we influence a lot of different cultures and cultural practices and pop culture and stuff like that around the world. That's very true. But that does not necessarily mean they want to see you there. And even so, even if you do have a large pop culture influence in another country, that does not mean that you as an individual are given a complete safe passage in that country. All right. So let me just give you an example. When I travel, or when I, used to travel a lot more, I always try to be very low key. I try to make sure that it's obvious I don't blend in if I'm in a place where there's not a lot of black people. But, I'm not trying to draw attention to myself. I'm not filming myself doing stuff, trying to smile on camera and posing with people or whatever, or posing in front of monuments. I don't do that. It's just usually because especially when I was younger, I was traveling for business, so I had somewhere to be and somewhere to go. I was trying to do something productive, so I wasn't spending too much time sightseeing. I would kind of do that on my own time, or maybe take a picture here and there. But I'm not trying to draw a lot of attention to myself, and that's the dumb thing I see a lot of black people doing on social media when it comes to traveling. They try to draw all the attention to themselves and then wonder why they get into certain situations, right? So be careful, because and the thing is, a lot of these different types of people out there, they're not as welcoming or benevolent to us as we think they are. All right, some of them really don't even want us there, nor do they love black people. So you have to be real careful and study the culture first. Understand where you're going. Understand that there are certain parts of countries that you probably should not be going into. This is not me trying to scare you from traveling, but I'm trying to make you a little bit more socially aware and have a little bit more common sense. Stop thinking that you're just so beautiful or so great that you can't be touched. Like, don't ever get into that mindset where you think you can go somewhere and can't be touched, because that happens all the time, where people get that arrogant. I mean, there are places within the United States where that can happen. You know what I'm saying? There are places within the United States that you probably shouldn't be at certain times of the day or certain times of night, or during certain times of year. You have to be aware of these things. Be aware of your surroundings and understand that you're not always welcome, or this is not as free of travel as you might think. Okay? I mean, at every embassy that they have, every American embassy, they have little warnings where they tell you, okay, you might not want to be here during this time of year, or you might not want to go to this spot, or you might not want to go to this club, or you might not want to go to this holy site, or you might not want to go to this burial ground, or you might not want to go to this festival at this time of day. You might want to just stay out there during the daytime, and then as the sun goes down, you might want to get up out of there, right? So that these are warnings that come with traveling, but our people don't seem to be aware of this because a lot of them are new to traveling. And once again, they see nonsense on social media and think that all these foreigners are just so fascinated with black people that they won't do any harm to black people. And nothing could be further from the truth. So, I mean, you folks can let me know how you feel about this in the comments section. I very much like to hear your opinions, especially if you're a black person who's traveled a lot. I'd like to hear your opinions on this. I've always had good experiences when I've traveled. I can't really think of any bad experiences I've had with other types of people. But it's just, but like I said, I travel a lot differently. I travel real light. I don't try to bring a lot of stuff because I don't like having a lot of luggage. And once again, I always try to be very low key. And plus, once again, I was always doing something very specific. I was always going somewhere that I needed to be. So I didn't do too much drawing attention to myself. And if I was going somewhere that I wasn't used to, I would always go with a group of people that knew the area very well. You see, that made all the difference, because they were almost kind of like my ticket in. Like, that worked better than any passport or whatever. When you have people around you that know the area, they're like, oh, this guy is cool, he's with us. That made all the difference. And I noticed people's expressions change and their demeanor towards me changed automatically just because I was with certain other people. You see what I'm saying? So you might want to think about that and not just be so careless in the way you travel. Anyway, folks, this is Mad Black, and I will be back on my foot on a devil's back.